You are listening to the 312 Squadron podcast. My name is Andrew Kouba,
And my name is Nick Sperry.
and we are excited to talk to you about a bunch of new content that's coming out from the X-Wing Alliance and that's been previewed over the past few weeks. We are officially in spoiler season. Nick, what an exciting time to be alive.
Yeah, seriously. There's on the inside with XWA, there's even more, there's so much stuff. But so to see this stuff, the few things that we've gotten a glimpse of publicly that's been previewed the last couple weeks, it's really exciting to be able to talk about new content, right? Like how about it? Because we haven't really had new content on the official side, right, for quite a while. And
Yeah.
to be able to swing back into having new things to look forward to is definitely a step in a very exciting and promising direction.
Yeah, big time. And it's been cool. What's been spoiled so far has been factions that needed or didn't even have any of the standard loadouts, kind of need some representation. I think it's going to be a great entrance for some new players too, who really loved, the newer series as well. A lot of these previewed cards are from a scenario, looks like a scenario pack.
I mean, the names of the packs are like scenario packs. I'm calling them scenario packs, but the only differentiator that I think we like it is really worth mentioning is just that there just won't be like a built-in like Siege of Coruscant type scenario
Oh,
for these
gotcha.
pilots, like with a whole rule set and a whole, like that's not what the design team is planning. When it comes to these pilots, they'll be inserted into the game, but there won't be like a separate scenario called the evacuation of Dakar,
Hey,
um,
and you
or
know
for
what?
Scum and Villainy.
I mean, that's okay because then you can make your own Heroes of the Aturi cluster versions
Exactly.
of what that is. Yeah.
But yeah, these are we're getting those three factions that you mentioned, this First Order, Resistance, and Scum. Scum technically has on a technicality an SL pilot, Lebo, right? So, but yeah, you almost
Oh,
don't really think
yeah,
of
yeah,
Scum
yeah.
having any SL pilots, and then First Order Resistance literally don't have any. So to
Right.
be able to see a preview of pilots for all three of those factions and um, these new design spaces that SLs allow the X-Wing Alliance to explore in a safer, contained way to kind of kick this off is really exciting. And d- don't get it twisted. Just because we're seeing SLs getting previewed here at the beginning for the post Adepticon world of XWA, it doesn't mean there aren't going to be custom pilots that are released by XWA. It's just a much easier space and safer space to explore releasing new content in the SL format.
Yeah,
So
for
that's why
sure.
we're seeing them.
Well, and, I think there have been a lot of people, me included, who have come around on some of the SL builds. Sometimes it is really nice just being able to grab those cards where it just has everything on one card. You don't have to worry about bringing anything else, and it kind of does add an element of I don't know, a quality of life improvements to some of your games.
Yeah, it's good for newer players in terms of setup. It's nice to have, it's just everything's just on the card. You just set up the ship, you got the card, you put the
Yeah.
charges down. And the other thing too is just like with new upgrades, you can add something new to the game that doesn't like potentially like break the game because of some
Yes.
crazy combo. It's
Yeah.
contained in one pilot, and that's nice.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate it. And also, I will say, from what has been leaked so far, these are very cool. I kind of want to get them on the table like already.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to preface for those listening. I think I mentioned it. I now my brain fog is kicking in, Andrew. But
Oh
I've
no.
been sick, so if I sound a little off or I'm not talking and running my mouth as much as I usually run my mouth, it's because of that. So just in case you guys are like, oh, Nick's a little off. I am a weird guy. I tend to be a little off, but it just in terms of just getting over a cold. So if I seem to sound a little different, that's why. But we could definitely dive in, Andrew, and talk about these if you want.
Yeah,
How
for
do you feel
sure.
about that? Just
Yeah,
kinda
I
jump
I
right
mean,
into it?
no time like the present. I'm sure that's what everyone's coming here to listen for. Uh
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, kicking off, this was the first one, like in the first batch of SL cards that were leaked, spoiled at the Sith Taker Open. What that was this past weekend or
It was 2
no,
weeks
2 weeks ago.
ago?
Yeah, that was
Weekends
right.
ago?
It's 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. So much has happened. But yeah, so 2 weeks ago, that was one of the first ones that was spoiled was Kylo Ren from the evacuation of Dakar. The stat line of like 3 attack die, 3 agility, 4 hull, 2 shield, 3
Yeah.
force is still pretty
3 force.
standard. Or 3, yeah,
Silencer
that's
Kylo, yep.
yeah, from like the silencer. And then I imagine this is on a silencer. Yeah, it
It
is
is,
silencer.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
bottom left
I
there.
see it right there. Yeah. Uh, but has an ability before an enemy ship in your bullseye is dealt a face down damage card. You can spend 1 force, and that card is dealt face up instead. So that is like a little bit of like show you the dark side, like that ability.
It's the
Uh,
Whisper, so it's actually the
it's the
exact same ability as Whisper Kylo's
it's the
ability,
whisper
but
Kylo.
in a
Okay.
silencer. Yeah, so this also works for not just like if they were to take a damage from an obstacle, a bomb, like there are a lot of ways that he can use this ability to spend a force to flip a damage card face up. Pretty cool.
And then has some cool like abilities that are added on for a talent ability. It's something called determination, which I think is new. And that's why you perform a primary attack. If the defender is in your bullseye arc, you can suffer a damage to add a eyeball result, uh,
Yeah.
which that's really good. Going all in on the damage, and that's also coupled with the second force ability, Malice, which is when you perform an attack, you can spend a force to change an eye result to a crit instead. If they're dealt a pilot or crew damage card face up, you get to recover 2 of your force, and then so that kind of works really well together. You could get some nasty, I mean, range ones, or you're shooting 4 dice if you want to take that damage at range 3. So really
Yep.
good closing piece right there. And then one of the beauty of SL cards is you talking about being able to work with stuff in a safe place. Kylo has proton torpedoes, which you don't necessarily want on him in the build your own version. Uh, but you get proton torpedoes, so 4 dice at range 2 to 3. And God forbid your bullseye, you can even add that determination to it too.
That's primary only for
Oh,
determination,
that is.
but you could
Oh,
use Malice for the proton torpedo,
see,
though,
you could,
still. You could
yeah.
change a hit to a crit with, Malice, so you could get multiple crits on a Pro Tor.
I remember reading the card explains the card. I got to do that a little better.
X-Wing players can't read, like, I've learned running a league of 125 X-Wing players, nobody knows how to read, so it's okay. You're not alone.
It's a problem. Yeah. But still, proton torpedoes on Kylo getting even more crits in. Just crits on crits on crits.
Yeah, he can damage himself to. So my thoughts on this is pretty scary, but also just like Colonel Jendon, you have to be calculated when you're taking damage to
Hmm.
do damage. Silencer Kylo, he's not a tie defender, right? He's still got a lot of health. He's got the 2 shields and 4 hull, but once you got shields down, you have to be careful. And
Yeah.
the other thing is with if assuming Kylo takes a target lock with to fire a proton torpedo, he's going to be using a lot of his force for his attack if he needs to modify his eyeball results, and so he's leaning on his force for a lot. And
Hmm.
there, that what's nice is as scary as he is and as much damage potential as he provides, there are also ways that you can take him down. He can either do it to himself, or he can focus fire him. But yeah, that bullseye you can have a 5 dice. Essentially, what ends up being like a 5 dice shot, range one bullseye because of
Yeah.
determination. Very nasty. It doesn't require spending a force to add the eyeball result. You just suffer the damage.
Yep. And I will see. I think determination makes most sense as a like a closing feature when you're chasing down a ship and you want to get that extra bit of damage in, or if you're really you're taking that damage to trade up for a piece on the board, and it probably in a position where you're not going to be focus fired.
Yeah. It's with the current iteration of XWA beta points. Silencer Kylo custom is 6 points.
Yeah.
Um, you have the Whisper Kylo out there as well. I believe he is 5. He might be 6. I have to double
Uh,
check that one.
XWA is
Um,
yeah 6 in for the whisper.
Yeah, so same price in the Whisper, and then this Kylo, because of his the amount of damage potential, will be 7. So just allows you to you could still take the leaner, cheaper silencer Kylo. He's got 2 force. He's still capable of doing a lot of damage. But then you have this one. This is the aggro, angry, determined Kylo. Very thematic for evacuation of Takara is what the designers are going for with this from the design team. I think they did a good job of really kind of having that come through in this build, in this SL build that they created for him. Also important to note that he has auto thrusters and not sensitive controls, so he can
Yeah.
do a red barrel roll or boost after performing an action, like the chassis allows for the silencer or interceptors.
Yeah.
What
I
would
was
you
gonna
rate
say
this? Like, if in terms of your excitement to try it and play it, what if you were to give it an honest rating out of 10, 10 being like, oh my gosh, like I cannot wait to play this immediately. What would you give it?
I out of 10, I would give this a 7 out of 10. And, the only reason why I'm saying that is, there are 3 other ships that I think that we're gonna go over today that are, like, are closer are the ones that I'm super excited to get on the field.
Yeah, I would say 8 for me. Definitely nice to see more options in first order and silence double repositioning proton torpedoes force like I'm in. That's the
Yeah.
spirit of X-Wing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if
Fun.
if you're an ace player too, like, this is the best iteration of Kylo. I
Yeah.
would say just on flat value. Now, Whisper Kylo is 6 points with 20 loadout, so I still think that there are times when you would also just take Whisper Kylo instead. This is, looking for a very specific list, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go
Very
on to the
fun.
next one. I can talk about the next one here. So that's Kylo.
Yeah.
And then Greg from Nickel City X-Wing had the opportunity to preview Poe Dameron in the T70. So this is he's I6 with the same stat line. He's got the 3 attack, 2 agility, 4 hull, 3 shields, 1 recurring charge. And his ability is the same as the custom Poe ability, the trigger happy flyboy Poe. After you perform an action, you may spend one of your one recurring charge to perform a wide action, treating it as red,
That's
so he can
gross.
double mod his shots. Yeah,
It's
pretty much every
insane.
turn if he wants to.
You don't even have to like, yeah, you could slam into a Slim Jim target. Like, there's so much stuff.
Yeah,
It's
into a Slim
bananas.
Jim.
Well, yeah, I don't know. If you were around in the 90s or early 2000s, that was the Slim Jim tagline was slam into a Slim Jim.
Okay,
And I
I was
think of
like, I
it
just
every time
I like it.
I do the slam action. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
I
think of those
gotcha.
little
I gotcha.
commercials.
I think we should almost consider adding an action called the Slim Jim. Is what I hear.
That would
Slam
be
into a red
a
Slim
talent
Jim.
ability. Yeah.
He also has adaptive S foils. After you perform a barrel roll action, gain a deplete token while you perform an attack. Before rolling attack dice, if the defender is in your bullseye, you may remove one deplete token.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's pretty similar to it's in a way it's very similar to the effect of the closed S foils where you barrel roll. You don't get depleted, but you just don't get the third attack die or fourth unless you have bullseye on the
Yeah.
whoever you're shooting at. He has heroic, which we all know what heroic does, but then he has primed overdrive thrusters, while you perform a red boost, barrel roll, or slam action, you must use a template one speed higher, just like overdrive thrusters, if able. And if you do, gain one strain token. You may gain one strain token to remove one stress token. So it's like overdrive, but essentially it lets you. It's interesting. You may
You could
gain one strain token to remove a
4K.
stress.
I mean, yeah, you do red and then still take actions. You just take a strain instead of the stress, and then you
Yeah,
can still do
and
actions.
which is really, really crucial because instead of an R4 astromech, which is like stapled on custom Poe,
Yeah.
we have BB-8, and so not being stressed, like his style isn't as good
Mhm.
without R4. So he has BB-8 with 2 charges that are non-recurring. During
Yeah.
the system phase, you may spend a charge to perform a booster barrel roll action, just like BB-8 does. Before you engage, you may spend 1 charge and gain a strain token. If you do, you may remove 1 disarm token. So because he has slam on his action bar, I'll go over his actions real quick. He has a focus to red barrel roll, target lock, which is white, white boost, white barrel roll, and a white slam. Having white slam on your action bar, whereas before black one, gave you the slam, the one-time slam, but he has it on
Mhm.
his action bar. Black 1, yeah, and then lastly is he has the title Black 1 with
Right,
2
yeah.
non-recurring charges. After you perform a slam action, lose 1 charge. If all your charges are active, you cannot perform are inactive, sorry, you cannot perform the slam action. So, he has it on his action bar, essentially he could do it twice.
You can do it twice,
So, it's not
which is even
unlimited
better.
times. Even better than the one time, you can do it twice.
And, like, with prime overdrive thrusters, you could do a 3 maneuver into a Talon roll, and then it becomes a strain instead of a stress, and then still do another action.
Yeah, and in the chat here, the system phase 2 speed barrel roll and then use ability for a 2 bank boost.
Yep,
LOL.
this is bananas. You can get anywhere on the board. There are so many ways for you to shed disarm tokens, shed your depletes, like, just everything is packaged all into one.
Yeah, this Poe is gonna be no ordnance, right? So a little bit more fair in that regard, but
Yeah.
is gonna be tough to take out
Oh my
for
god, it's
sure.
gonna be hard to I mean, yeah, like, this is a Poe that can get anywhere on the board, like,
Reminds me of the Falcon Poe and the things that Falcon Poe can do.
a little bit.
Pretty
I don't even
pretty
know how
crazy.
you keep him in your sights, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I
And
mean,
and at I6, like, you gotta
I6,
be
he'll be 6 points, so he'll be 1 point cheaper than custom Trigger Happy Flyboy Poe.
and I think this is better.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Andrew. I don't know if I would ever even take custom Poe
No.
once. I mean, like, even right now, I wouldn't, but after this comes out, like, no chance. Like, there's just
No.
no point. Uh, this is pound for pound better. All the
If
things
this
that you
is
want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's 6 points. I mean, honestly, I feel that this is kind of an auto include 6 points, especially, like, at I6, like, your opponent's gotta be really good at bumping you, like, for you to not go off.
Yeah, that is true. If you do trap him with a block, you could take him out though. So that will be a part of the strategy. Otherwise,
I
good.
think so.
Don't bother. I think just don't bother. I wouldn't bother.
No, honestly,
I
and
guess.
he's gonna bother you, like
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna bother. Yeah, well, he's gonna annoy me for sure. He's gonna be like, he'll get a pot shot at or something, and just be like, zip, 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 zoop, zip, stop, zooey, out
yeah.
of there.
Yeah, because it's not even like when you perform the second action, you can do scenario actions. Like this is going to be insane in games of like Scramble and games of a salty satellite array because you can just get across the map and collect a point somewhere else, or you can do a slam action and then hit a button. Really,
Well, so
this
you do
Poe
have to. Your
could.
perform action step does have to be the scenario action, but you could like scenario action, like scramble, and then like 2 bank boost, and then
Okay,
like the next turn just 2 or 3 straight and scramble the next point.
okay,
Uh,
so that doesn't work that way. Even if it says after you perform an action, it has to be the first action.
yeah, it has to
Gotcha.
be, yeah. So
Okay.
the second action can be anything but the scenario action.
All right. I mean, I guess even still though, like you can hit a button and then just get out of there.
Yeah, right. And what's great is that you because T70s in general or X-wings in general, they tend to roll. They'll roll evade blank, blank blank very often. And with
Hmm.
heroic, you have the insurance that if you do a stereo action or you don't take the focus, if you blank out, you get another chance. You get to try again. Um, and so you can afford with Poe to play scenario to play objectives. You can
Sure.
scramble and take a focus. You could there's just a lot
You
of things you
can
could do.
you can scramble, take a focus into a red barrel roll, and then go two like template two barrel roll out of there, and like just get out of everybody's arc.
Yeah, so if you scramble and then you could
Oh
scramble
no,
and
no,
then
sorry.
do
The next one would be red. So I guess you couldn't do
yeah,
the
but
barrel
you could
roll.
do like
Yeah,
a two
you could.
speed barrel roll still. Yeah, it's super good. It's still yeah, it's crazy. I think this is going to be difficult to.
It's gonna be difficult
The
to
challenge is
hit.
going to be what do you do with custom Poe?
Yeah,
I almost, and I'm not the one that's going to decide this, but making custom Poe the same price might end up happening at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if this is 6 points, then I think there's no reason why custom
S-
Poe is
Yeah.
7. Uh, and even if you take out the loadout, because Poe's got 25 loadout right now, so definitely you could even reduce the loadout a little bit and then make that 6. the only thing if you had to have a list with the build it yourself Poe is that you do it for the ordnance. You just want the advanced proton torpedoes or the proton torpedoes in there.
It's true. Should we move on to so this will be 6 points.
Yeah. So if I
I'm
was going to
excited about
say
this one. I'm
what, yeah,
nervous about it.
what is your what's your excitement in putting this on the table?
I just am already mad at Manny. Like, I'm already mad at him because I know I'm gonna have to play against this, and he's
Oh,
gonna
you
be annoyed
will
with it.
for sure. Because
Um,
I'm a 10 excited to play this.
yeah, this will be a lot of fun, and
It's
I
so
feel
much
like I
fun.
could spend the entire game just not shooting at anybody and still have a blast because I'll just be doing just stupid stuff with him.
Honestly, yeah,
So,
like
yeah,
that's
9.
kind of
I'd say
that's what
9 out of 10.
yeah, that's what I do when I play the Alpha Class Starwing, and this is just Alpha Class Starwing but I6 Poe. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
Alpha
absolutely
Class Poe.
bananas. But I'm playing this for sure, 100% on the field.
The next one is the super exciting one because it's, like, something that everyone's asked for and is all
Yes,
brand new, so I'll
same.
give it to you, Andrew.
It's
Take it
it's what
away.
I want. I will say another one. I'm a 10 out of 10 excited to get on the field. Also very fun. This is the Mandalorian in the Naboo Royal N1 Starfighter. It comes from the scenario pack that says Most Wanted. The stat line is the same for the Naboo Starfighter that you'd find in Republic. It's got 2 attack, 2 agility, 3 hull, 2 shield, and it has 2 force because it is thematically carrying the child as its crew. Uh, and then while the pilot ability is while you defend or perform an attack, if you are in the front arc at range 1 to 2 of 2 or more enemy ships, you may change one of your blank results to a I result. So that is kind of like fearless, but with extra steps.
It's the
You got to
same ability as the Razor Crest ability.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Uh, and then it has a different chassis ability though kind of to which I appreciate the restored speedster while you are disarmed you may perform primary attacks against enemy objects in your bullseye arc which is kind of cool and that makes sense because the action bar has focus, has target lock, barrel roll, boost, and it also has a slam into red target lock. So that's where this restored speedster kind of comes into play, where you're still able to attack if they are in your front bullseye. The Mandalorian's also initiative 5. So you do have a good chance of lining up some shots. But yeah, a white slam for the Naboo Starfighter, which is pretty good. And then for the talent ability, it has outmaneuver. So while you perform an attack, if you're not in the defender's firing arc, defender rolls 1 fewer dice. Has the child, like we mentioned, so you get those 2 force. Operates the same when you don't recover it, but when you take damage, then you recover it.
Yeah,
Um,
no merciless pursuit though. There's no condition attached to this one,
You know what?
which is
That is
cool.
huge. I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
way better. So it's a better child. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Don't
then
tell
it,
Chris Hansen.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Just
no,
edit that out. It's a
it's
terrible
still a good
joke.
card. Yeah.
No,
But
it's
this is yeah, it's a upgraded version of it. And then it has a custom, a new elicit called Kinesio Switch. After you perform a slam action, if you fully executed the maneuver, you can spend 1 charge to break all locks assigned to you, and comes with 2 non-reoccurring charges. So you can slam into a target lock, and then also use that as a way to break locks that are on you, which is also incredible. What a deterrent from anyone trying to target lock you.
yeah,
And then
a deterrent for I5s moving before you and non I6s essentially.
right,
But still very good. And even if an I6 has you locked the next turn, you can still break the lock and
if you yeah you can
force
still
them to
break
make
it.
a decision.
Yeah. Still, I mean, adds a lot of slipperiness to the Naboo fighter. And then last, it has calibrated laser targeting. So while you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, you can add a focus result, and that is for any range.
CLT, yeah, commonly used only used it to this point on the Delta 7s,
Yeah.
the Aether Sprites and Republic. but there's no talking to Ryan on GSP. So I was on GSP when they previewed this, which was fun. Ryan was it was very insightful. He was talking about the thought process behind this and this and this, and talking about how he's like, there's no reason that there was no indication that CLT, that calibrated laser targeting, is only something that could be put and equipped on a Delta 7/8 or Sprite. So being able to explore integrating those types of upgrades into new content or different chassis is really cool.
Yeah.
Pairs really nicely with the child, with the ability to shoot while disarmed if the enemy is in your bullseye, potentially to pair without maneuver. This is going to be, honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun and incredibly difficult to hit the highest ceiling with.
Yeah.
I think the ceiling on this on the Mandalorian is actually going to be pretty high, but a lot of players will not feel it. It will not get there because it's going to be difficult to be able to lining up bullseye is not easy.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's his action bar is white focus, white lock, white barrel roll, white boost. There is no evade on this action bar, by the way.
Mhm.
Uh, and also a white slam, two red lock, like you mentioned. I think and if apologies if we, again, the brain fog. If you had already said all these actions earlier, and I just like it just went right through me, I apologize.
Yeah,
Just
no worries.
reiterating, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I5. He's got the Mandalorian's ability, so if he's in trouble, he has some ways to modify his blanks to kind of basically like reinforce and take a little bit less damage. Um, but at the same time, if he's spending his force on an attack, the only way he gets it back is if he suffers a damage. It's conditional. He doesn't have a ton of health. He's got only two shields, two agility, three hull,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, the
So
Naboo starfighters are, I think were notoriously vulnerable. I think that's, where the rebel, or I mean the Republic ship ability was so important when you get that three to five maneuver, you get the evade token because rolling
yep,
only
and you
two
don't get it
dice.
here.
Yeah, I mean that's very destroyable.
Yeah, so the Mando essentially has to be or try to be a flanker. He's going to try to be fast. If he
Yes.
gets if he gets in trouble, he's going to try to like slam out of trouble. It's super thematic. Like
Hmm.
that is I will say this on popular opinion, but this has nothing to do with the this card and how exciting this is, but the decision in the lore of the Mandalorian, the show itself, for him to lose the Razor Crest, which I thought was so cool, and for him to get in a Naboo starfighter.
I thought that
It
was
never
cool.
sold me. It was as cool as it was. It felt like fan fiction for me. So, but
I thought it was cool
with that said, well, I'm not saying it's not cool. I just would rather him be in a bounty hunter ship.
for
That was
sure.
just my, as a Star Wars fan, is just what I liked about him the most. But for
Yeah.
this, it's very thematic that what we've seen in the show and how he's flown this ship. The what we can do with this is very much aligned with how he
Yeah.
flew the restored speedster N1 modified N1 starfighter. So
I
I
thought this
do
was
think
awesome, yeah.
this will be uh this will be a very challenging piece to fly, and because of that, XWA has said he will be 4. He's tested well at 4 and 5. It was tough. Um, and that's
Yeah,
good because it's going to be tough to be able to do a ton of damage with him if you aren't trying to flank with him and lining up bullseyes.
I absolutely agree with that, and I think 4 points is good, especially in Scum. I mean, I really see this piece as a key objective getter, which is something that the Scum faction has been missing outside of, like, mining guild ties. uh, because I feel like a lot of Scum ships are so resource heavy, so action heavy where they want to be, that having a 4 point ship when you're flying some of the big heavy hitters like Boba Fett or anything like that, having a dedicated ship that can go and, press buttons or can go and, be near objective points and pick up those objective points is kind of something that I think is going to be important.
Yeah, it's in terms of force users, I there aren't a lot of options in Scum.
There are hardly
Um,
any.
there's like
This is it's
Asajj.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. Like in terms of like stuff like naturally, like the pilot has force. Um,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
super rare. I mean, Maul in the Gauntlet.
Maul
you
and the
know?
Gauntlet and Asajj, I think, are the only 2, and
I
those are,
think
like,
those might be, yeah, the
very
only 2.
expensive options, very in large bases, clunky, kind of.
Yeah.
Not everybody's play style. So what's nice is that for me, like I consider myself to be a Scum player, but I am not the kind of Scum player that brings that like Rube Goldberg, like crazy weird, like Afra type list. Like I typically like to play the acier side of Scum, Fenn Rau, Guri, Dirge, like ships that are don't really necessarily you don't need to have a bunch of triggers kind of feed off of each other to
Ooh,
get what you need. And I think this pilot fits really well into that play style for people who, play Scum on the side, but they don't play the 3 or 4 large base Scum lists. They don't,
mhm,
you know, they're that to me, when I think of Scum, I think of like Bosk and the YV 666 or like Afra or, Manaru or
yeah,
Dengar, like all these like large Han and the Falcon, like these large bases, doing all these crazy things with their upgrades. Um, I for 4 points at I5, like a small base that can go fast, that can do crazy things. Like I think this is a very much needed and welcome addition to the faction.
yeah,
That in XWA beta at least has a lot of options. Where in standard there's like Scum's options suck.
yeah.
They do.
No, I agree. I will, and I also, lastly, I also forgot Kanan Jarrus in the Hawk 290 because he was a scourge around by making everybody
Yeah,
roll
yeah. I don't know
one
how I
fewer
forgot
attack
about
die.
Kanan. Yeah, he was
But I mean, but that's
a
it. Like
big
that's
part of.
it. Yeah. I mean, it is a faction that's missing force users, and also because of that, they're missing really good ways to handle objectives.
Yeah, objectives have always been tough for Scum. They're doing
Yeah.
better with the extended field, but
Hmm.
it's still it's definitely difficult. Fenrau never wants to do an objective action,
Oh no! I like any
right?
Fang
Like,
fighter. None of them want to pick up. I mean, any of the big ships too. Like, there's very few Scum ships that want to pick up crates. Whenever if I'm playing the Scum faction too, like the crate missions, just that also becomes chance engagement for me.
yeah, yeah. I have a Scum list that have been playing that it's like 2 of the ships, like Seavor and Sunnybounder, take crates, and then nothing
Okay.
else wants anything to do with a
Right.
crate because they
Yeah.
always have to reposition. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do not put a crate on a Fang. Like,
Right.
yeah.
You want to get into? There's a few more FO pilots. That's the only
Yeah.
Scum pilot we've gotten so far. But I will say for the people listening and watching live right now, um, I have been in talks with a certain X-wing content creator um, about teasing or previewing some Scum pilots. You all know him pretty well. He's been around for a while, and so that what just stay on the lookout for that. His name is Harry Nick. I'm gonna say the whole. I'm not gonna just tease it. I'm gonna tell you who it is. So I just reached out to him about scheduling some time for him to on his channel go over. He's a big Scum guy. Go over some Scum pilots. So that in the future, look out for that. That's
Oh, that'll be cool.
could
That's
be a
so
couple
nice.
weeks away,
Yeah.
but I'm looking forward to that. So um,
Awesome.
let's talk about NCX also. It's again I asked Greg, is like Greg, do you want to want to tease a few more of these? He said yes, of course. So uh we handed over a few more FO pilots, SF slash Thai FO pilots that we can break down. I'm happy to start with LaHughes here.
Yeah.
Um, so this is evacuation of Dakar, LaHughes. The stat line: the two mobile arc, 2 primary at the front. Attack dice, 2 agility, 3 hull, 3 shields. Pretty standard. That is the SF. At the start of the engagement phase, you may acquire a lock on an object at range 1 to 3 that has a friendly lock. If you do, break a friendly lock on that object. So, whereas custom Hughes will use other people's target locks,
Hmm.
he will basically replace his lock in favor of someone else's.
Yeah. It's kind of
Um,
a fun play on it.
he has heavy weapon turret. After you perform an action, you can perform a white rotate action. You can only rotate your turret arc to the front or back. You must treat the front arc requirement of your equipped missile upgrades as your turret.
this is a better templating and design than like what was on the original First Order ships, only because heavy weapon turret is more reminder text, and then all the actions just linked rotate actions. This one is like, no, heavy weapon turret is after from an action. You can, they're all linked rotate actions essentially, and then it has the
Yeah.
reminder text. Yeah,
Yeah, it's true. His the action bar on Lahuse is a focus, white focus, a white evade, white target lock, white barrel roll, and then the linked white reload to white target lock. He also has the determination talent that we saw in Kylo. So what's cool, it's not just specific to Kylo. While you perform a primary attack, the defender is in your bullseye. You may suffer damage to add an eyeball result. He has concussion missiles. We know what those do. Range 2 to 3 front arc weapon. You get 3 attack dice, 3 charges. Target lock requirement. Spend 1 charge. After this attack hits, each ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender exposes one of its damage cards. And then he has first order ordnance tech. This is a new gunner. After you gain a disarm token, gain a calculate token. While you are disarmed, you can still perform front arc primary attacks. So after you gain a disarm, so what you could do is you could use that. You could pair that with the actions that he has. So you
yeah,
could do a white. That's interesting. You could do a white reload to white target lock, gain the calculate token, and still be able to shoot
yeah. With an extra mod.
with an extra mod. Yeah, that's that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
But yeah, that pairs really well. It's a nice it's similar to the Lahus we know, but a little different.
yeah. And then
What do
this
you think?
one, oh no, no. I mean, I think this is a really good. I'd say LaHue's determination makes a little more sense on this one too. Just because you have more of the like shield to deal with. I think it's kind of an interesting like 1-2. The one thing that this loses, I would say there are instances where you would also maybe want to take the build your own LeHues as well, because you're losing the special forces gunner. So it's a little weak on, like, you are really relying on that because of concussion missiles to give you that 3 die attack. So this one's a
For
little
sure.
more aggressive, but I think that the way of play is range. You target lock range 3, shoot concussion missiles, boost in, and then you get into range 2 or 1, where you do the reload target lock, get the calculate, and then you still get that 3 dice gun. So yeah, so I kind of see that being more of like the pattern of play, and then if you get that lineup, go for
Yeah.
determination. Though I will say, with all of this, like LeHugh's on the standard one only has six loadout. Uh so you can't even take concussion missiles with this, like with the original LeHugh's. This one comes with a little more tools, but I think that it's definitely great to take this. It has a much better action bar, and being able to target lock and get just even that single modified with the calculate is really good. So and they're both, I think, going to be the same points at 4. So I could see, you kind of having a choice on how much you really want that like special forces gunner, so that you might take this or you might take the build your own. This one I
Yeah.
kind of like that it's not as clear cut and dry, which one you really want to go with.
Yeah. I mean, I think I use custom Lahus unless this is 3 points. I put likely 4, but it could be 3. We'll have to see what happens
Well,
there.
I mean, if it was 3, then this LaHugh's is hands down not only better, that's amazing. I can't see this ever being 3. I mean, Malrus is
Yeah.
4 points, right? And this is like way better than even Malrus.
I don't know if this is way better than Malrus, but
I think this
I
is,
don't know.
well, Malrus comes
I
with
don't know if I'm
19
sold on
loadout.
this
Yeah, I
Lahus.
don't know. I would
Well,
see 4
Malrus's
points
ability. I mean,
seems,
Malrus's ability is just like infinite mods of eyeball results for an entire turn twice,
yeah,
right? It's just
yeah,
nothing
fair
compares with
enough.
that.
Fair enough. Um, I don't know. I mean that, I think this is still going to be 4 points. If this was 3 points, then that would also be the cheapest SF fighter. I think that just becomes an auto include if it was 3. I could see this
Yeah,
being
probably
4.
not going to be 3. I
4
don't want
makes
people to
I
think
think
that's
4 makes the
possible.
most sense for this. Feels good at 4.
Yeah,
I think if this was 5 points, then I would say you build your own LeHues with 6 loadout I might be taking that more often.
Yeah. Let's talk about actually. If you scroll down to our notes, the
Mhm.
last Theta 3, we should do Theta 3 next because that's another SF, and then we can finish with the FO, just so
Sure.
we don't jump back and forth. If you wanted to do Theta 3, this is another Thai SF that was previewed on Nickel City X Wing
Yeah.
recently.
Oh, yeah. Uh, I was gonna say okay, so
Oh,
Theta
sorry. I mean, any other thoughts on Hughes? I just kind of
well, I
forced
was
us to do
wondering,
that.
what's your excitement level for LeHues if we're gonna give them all a
Like
rating?
5.
A 5, okay.
Yeah. What
I
about you?
would I mean, yeah, I would go I think I'd go for a 7 for LeHues.
Okay.
I enjoy playing FO, and I think that the reload into target lock into calculate is interesting. And I think also being able to like break locks, like replace them with your own, kind of adds some interesting things. I think I mean that one is it doesn't play as well with midnight because that was like the original LeHugh's trick because you really want midnight's lock to be on there and then LeHugh's could just use it, could spend it if it needed to. But then this one is like, no, you can't have it both ways. So I think this LeHugh's is a little more fair.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I didn't mean to blitz past them, but
No, 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 no.
Theta 3 though.
Yeah. So Theta 3, same stat line. It's an I3. Has the same stat line as the regular SF. The uh, 2 attack dice in the turret, 2 agility, 3 hull, 3 shield, has 2 non-recurring charges. And it says at the start of the engagement phase, if you have no green tokens, you can spend a charge and gain an evade token. So that is cool. And it's not an action, it's you just get the token. So that gets around jam, which is really neat. Uh, has the same heavy weapons turret ability. After you perform an action, you can perform a white rotate action. And then also has the same action bar as LeHugh's. So it has focus, evade action, a target lock action, a barrel roll action, a reload into white's target lock action. Uh, this one, the first ordinance is, or the ordinance that it has is seeker missiles, which is a new type of ordinance. Comes with 4 charges, and it has an attack target lock requirement. You can spend 1 charge during the modify attack dice step. You may spend up to 2 additional charges. Change 1 focus result to a hits result for each charge spent this way, and then that is 3 dice at range 2 to 3. So that is really good. Um, and then also has passive sensors, which has 1 recurring charge. Spend 1, you can only perform this action in your perform action step. So this is the same as passive sensors. It's been a while though since I think we've really seen a lot of passive sensors on the table. It also reads, while your charge is inactive, you cannot be coordinated before you engage. If your charge is inactive, you can perform a calculate or target lock action.
Yep.
So that's good for an I3 because you can then get the target lock after you've moved if you want that. And then this one also has the same as the Hughes, the first order ordnance tack as a gunner. After you gain disarm token, you can gain a calculate token. And then while you're disarmed, you can still do primary attacks in your front arc.
This is exciting. I think a nice little low initiative,
Yeah, a low initiative that punches above its weight.
but yeah, that doesn't suffer from being low initiative per se,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
you
Passive sensors is a great built in protection.
yeah, you passive sensor and then
And then you have no green
you
tokens.
grab the evade and then you fire a seeker missile and you have essentially focus evade lock evade for
Yep.
the defense. The focus comes from the seeker missiles
Yep.
ability to spend extra charges. Downside, you probably you on average you probably shoot 2 seeker missiles. If you're
Yeah.
using charges for any other purpose, it's two
Yeah.
times two
It would
used.
feel really bad if you had to spend, two like you're spending 3 charges in your first attack to flip 2 eyes.
Yeah, right. So ideally, you only have to modify one eyeball result. You might have to modify
Yeah.
two. At that point, you have one more secret missile charge with only a
However,
target lock.
you do have the reload option. You have that white reload into target lock, so
Yep.
you can, get him back.
Yep. The only thing is you can't perform. So like with first order ordnance tech, it's a little interesting because you would think, oh well, you could perform special attacks while disarmed. No, you only primary. So
Mhm.
there isn't full synergy there, but I still do like I like the survivability.
Yeah.
Um, I like the secret missiles. I think it's you know very solid. It's
Super solid.
essentially a way to. It's not a guaranteed three hits, but you give yourself a chance to punch a little higher
Mhm.
than a lot of these lower initiative SF pilots can. I mean, gosh, when I think of SF pilots, it takes me a second to even remember Phasma. Like, quick
Yeah.
draw, Hughes, and then there's like backdraft exists. Phasma. There aren't a lot of choices, anyways. I don't even know if there's beyond the generics there's any more, but this will be played. Like we are going to see this pilot getting used pretty often, and it'll
Absolutely.
be it'll be it'll be a good addition to FO for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I like this. It's an i3, but yeah, it's got a lot of it covered. Uh it's not overpowered, but this is something that you have to deal with for sure.
Yeah, and being able to evade twice if you don't have a green token, like
Mhm.
because otherwise you could get two shotted. You'll get one rounded. This thing would get one rounded a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think even with secret missiles, yeah, this is something that you want to engage first engagement with range 3, maybe second engagement, try to get into range 1 if you can, if
Yeah,
you need to reload. Or you take 2 engagements at range 2 to 3, and then, third engagement range 1. Great. Just all around good. And then as you fly away, you can also shoot out your rear more seeker missiles.
yeah, definitely. The last pilot. Oh,
Cool.
sorry, I
Oh,
keep doing this. Excitement,
yeah, no worries.
rating, things.
What's your excitement excitement level flying this?
I would say 7. Like, I don't play FO a ton, but if when I do, I will try this out and play it a bunch, until something catches my eye that I like better, but, like, I would say in the 7.5 range for me.
I'm gonna go a 9 on this. I play FO a little
Ooh,
bit more.
higher than
Um,
2 more higher than Kylo, huh?
yeah. No, no, no. Yeah, 2 more higher than Kylo.
Okay.
So when all of these were leaked, I think in my head I'm building kind of an all 4-point list, or I might do like a 6-point Kylo
Yeah.
in there as well, or to get some of those like 3 points or the 3 points FO fighters, tie FOs.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this 7-point Kylo and Von Reg, and then, like, 8 points of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
But,
of
Theta 3.
3-point FOs,
Yeah, Omega 2. So this is a tie FO. 2 attack, 3 agility, 3 hull, 1 shield. This is initiative 3. And just to reiterate, Hughes is initiative 5. Theta 3 is an initiative 3. Omega 2 here is initiative 3. With the ability that reads friendly tie ships can acquire locks onto objects at range 0 to 3 of you, ignoring range restrictions. That's so fun. It's basically like a weird sensor buoy pilot.
yeah, it's
Um,
Sensor Buoy as a pilot.
with Reckless, while you perform an attack, you may choose another friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, that ship gains a strain token and you may re-roll a blank result. So a bit of a gamble with that one, but I like it. It's reckless. It's a reckless thing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
It is a cool take on like Ruthless, I feel. Like I like it as the FO's, version of that.
Yeah, it has determination as well. You can suffer. This is going to be. I don't know how often Omega 2 is going to use determination, but it could happen once. Maybe to like on your way out before you die, you get an extra, snipe an extra damage through. While you perform a primary attack, as the defenders in your bullseye suffer damage to add, and you may suffer damage to add an eyeball result. And then he has a targeting relay, which is a tech upgrade. After a friendly ship acquires a lock on an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of you, you may spend one charge and gain a stress token. If you do, that friendly ship may gain a calculate token.
Yeah.
Just like a support piece.
It is. It is all the ultimate support piece as a TIFO. It's
Yeah,
so quirky. Yeah.
there's got to be like a lot of like sneaky ways to abuse the hell out of Omega too. I'm
I
like really
think
curious.
there are. That was one thing that I was looking at. Like one I can think of is Muse, which is another 3 point TIFO, which is at the start of the engagement phase. You can choose a friendly ship at 0 to 1. If you do, that ship removes a stress
The
token.
stress token, yeah.
So yeah, so you can get the stress, give someone else the target lock. I mean, you could even give Muse the target lock, and then Muse gets to calculate, and then Muse takes the stress off of Omega 2.
Yeah, I feel like anybody, but like I'm thinking about 7 point Kylo
Yeah,
with those protorps.
I
He's
mean
just
that's
gonna. He's like, thanks for the calculate. Thanks
yeah.
for backing up my defense.
Well, or and Kylo's got. I mean, Kylo wants to keep the Force around too, so that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah,
I was gonna say this
on
also
reg,
works.
quick draw. Quick draw loves that though. Quick draw like
Yeah,
almost always has to fire a single botted shot at first.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the other one is like any of the bombers. If you're running them, like Scorch.
yeah. It's seriously, it's good. I mean, it's cool to see a. So you get a small base, 3 agility, lower initiative pilot that offers support capabilities, that has the capability of doing a little bit of damage.
Hmm.
You know, uh, not going to be their purpose, but
No.
is it like necessarily a liability? Like the Xi shuttle is so awkward and can die so quickly. And it's, I mean, yes, this is a a 4 health Tie fighter, right? But at the same time, um, you don't have to make sacrifices to allow your friendly ships to get these target locks. Like you could gain a stress token, but you can still focus, you can still evade, you can still lock, you can barrel roll red evade. That's on the action bar.
Yeah.
Um, like you are a support piece that doesn't sacrifice complete utility in favor of coordinating and giving other people things. Like you are just allowing friendly ships to do things because you exist, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, like I mean that's honestly I think what Omega 2 is going to be. This is another one of those pieces that is for objectives but then is also just purely a support piece to make everyone else's shots better. Like this is a sacrificial pawn that you can throw out in the opening while everyone else gets these really good target lock shots. So any shot that's going into Omega 2 is not preventing the shots that those ships are going to be taking from the rest of the FO ships that are target locking the prey.
Yeah, it's just I'm actually like this is might be I might I'm kind of really excited about this because like
S
I'm a big E-wing guy, right? And they can lock
Yeah,
outside of range 3. So to
yeah,
be able to like throw something like in front of all your friends, and like you're basically turning most of your list into E-wings
a little
because they
bit.
can like lock beyond range 3 from
Yeah,
this
and
thing.
then
They can lock it. It's crazy.
yeah. I mean, I look at this as, I mean, this also helps those lower initiative ships too, um, especially, like, even, like, the Whispers and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Target locks, they are important. A lot of ships wish they could afford to take target locks, and now there are ways that you can do it because of Omega 2. There are safe zones where you can take one before you would engage, but Omega might be close enough to be able to get you that lock.
Yeah,
Very cool. It's kind of like biohexcrypt codes too, right? Where you can like coordinate. It's not the same, but like it allows you to coordinate. You can spend a lock to like coordinate someone wherever they are, right? Which is just like
yeah.
similar in that sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it is just cool, like the calculate ability from, like, targeting relay, like, that's super neat. Th This was the 3rd ship that I was at kind of a 10 to get on the table. I wanna find ways to, like, abuse Omega 2.
Yeah, after a friendly ship acquires a lock on an enemy ship at range 0 to 1, and you could be friendly to yourself, right?
Yeah,
So you could do it for yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, so you could target lock, gain a stress, gain a calculate. Yeah,
yeah.
you could
I mean,
self
yeah, why
sustain
not?
yourself that way too. Yep.
I have a feeling, I'm going to be doing a lot of the barrel roll and evading with Omega 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's Scythe 6 has that on their action bar, the SL BOE pilot.
Yeah.
They have a barrel roll red evade. It's pretty good. So it's a good
Uh,
linked action.
I think that there might be some cheeky ways to really to get the most out of Omega 2.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to get explored that I'm
I
looking
feel like
forward to
it's gonna
seeing
yeah, it's
unfold in
gonna
front
be
of me.
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be something else. Oh man, yeah, but that's those are the pilots that have been previewed so far. There's more coming soon. There is a preview article that will also be released shortly, within a couple days of this recording, not of the podcast coming out, but that you guys will see some more pilots for FO in that article. Um, yeah, I mean, so far I think XWA is coming out swinging,
Mhm.
and they're making contact. Like these are, I'm making my baseball references, but my analogies. But I mean, this they're in the sweet spot with a lot of this.
Yeah, they're
Right?
exciting. I will say I appreciate that these aren't cracked in half, busted in half like some of the SL stuff that has been
Yeah,
coming out before.
or just like a ton of text, or
A
it's just
ton
like
of
I can't
text.
remember all of
You know
this.
what?
Yeah,
Yes, I will say these are much more light on the triggers. Like, there's not a lot of this stuff is just like ordinance based, like passive sensor based. It's not like if we attack or if then all these different things happen. Because oh my god, the amount of times I forget chaff particles, like I forget to spend my unused eyeball results while I defend my defense step. Like there's so much. Yeah,
or
I
just like
these seem.
Lando and the Falcon is like he has like 8 different like novels of text on his
Hmm.
card. It's just not good for your opponent's not gonna be able to remember it. If your opponent just doesn't bother, that's a bad sign. And thankfully, these are things that we can remember. We can look at
Yeah,
these and learn and be
I
like,
mean,
that's what this pilot does when you play against it or when you use it.
yeah. Most of these are just like they're cards that exist already. Like the only really
Yeah.
there's not a ton of like new stuff that we
Not a
haven't
lot
seen
of
before.
not the wheel isn't being reinvented 8
Right.
times, right?
And
Like it's
yeah,
yeah.
and they're very cool and they're I think really well done. I love the theme of the Mandalorian. Like so on theme. It's so cool.
It's pretty wizard, as he says.
Mhm.
It's pretty wizard. Yeah, that's I'm excited for sure. And I might not sound like it, but it's only because I'm sick. I am excited. It's just like, gosh, it's like, wow, Nick doesn't sound excited. It's like, man, I'm trying. It's just hard to come through.
Had a long day. Yeah, you were before this also just doing commentary.
Yeah. 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 First game, I was all alone too, which is like tough. It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I got bailed out a little bit for the second game, which was nice. It was nice to have them have some co-commentating love. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll what's nice is we'll have our podcast episodes we typically record when we feel it's there's something to record about. Um we try not to go too long without doing an episode, but when you have things to talk about like this, it's great, and it'll set us on a cadence that it would be a little bit more regular as there are things to talk about, like this. These spoilers we can record and talk about them, and it's nice to come together and talk about new content, right? To
It's
like new
always
X-Wing stuff.
cool. Yeah, it's always cool. And plus, like, I've been training for Worlds right now too, so it's been so much fun to just like dip back in and seeing everything that's been going on, like XWA, and all the cool things that are happening there. Like, absolutely awesome to see new content coming out, and it's just reinvigorated me.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. It's a lot, and we've only started to scrape the very tippy top of the iceberg, right? There's a lot gonna go deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
All right, what do you
All
say?
right.
Should we do our little outro?
I no time like the present. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. It is very exciting to have new content to look forward to in the near future after Adepticon. And if you aren't already following us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, you should. We got links in the description. And finally, 312 is excited to be producing exclusive alt art cards of featured new XWA pilots for our patrons. So consider supporting us on Patreon and get rewarded with some awesome quality swag. This is Andrew.
And this is Nick.
Have a wonderful night.
Goodbye.